Why shouldn't you love through a sexual approach? A journey through Carl Jung's lens. There's a moment in life when your heart beats faster, when eyes meet and a fire ignites in your chest. You call it love? Or do you think it is? In today's world, where dating apps flicker on phone screens, where curated images and fleeting conversations define connection, we often mistake that fire for sex. We approach love through physical attraction, through moments of passion, and tell ourselves it's enough. But then, why do those relationships crumble? Why does the heart still feel empty, even after the body has been close? Carl Jung, the great 20th century psychologist, peered deep into the human soul and saw what we often overlook. Love is not a race to conquer the body. It is a journey to discover yourself. If you love through a sexual approach, you're not just missing the essence of love, you're blocking your soul from reaching wholeness. This isn't a judgment. This is an invitation. An invitation to pause, look within, and ask, what is love to me? And why am I seeking it through this path? Let me guide you through this journey, through the depths of Jung's analytical psychology, to understand why loving through a sexual approach is not the path to true love. And in our modern era, an age of instant connections and unrealistic expectations, Jung's message is more urgent than ever. This is not a journey to reject sex, but to discover how love can become a sacred flame rather than a fleeting breeze. Chapter 1. Love is not the fire of the body. You felt it, haven't you? That burning sensation when you see someone, when your body responds before your mind can catch up. In that moment, you think you found love. Dating apps, late-night texts, electrifying encounters, they all promise something grand. But then, when the fire fades, what's left? An emptiness. A question, why wasn't it enough? Carl Jung would tell you that you're not wrong to feel that fire. Sex is part of the life force, part of libido, which he defined not just as sexual desire, but as the universal energy of life, encompassing creativity, spirituality, and the yearning to connect with something greater than yourself. But when you approach love solely through sex, you're holding a single puzzle piece and thinking it's the entire picture. Jung wrote in Symbols of Transformation that libido is the river of life. But if you only drink from one small stream, you'll never know its vastness. In our modern era, we're swept up in a culture of instant gratification. Apps like Tinder, Bumble, or Instagram turn love into a quick transaction. Swipe right, chat, meet, and if you're lucky, a night of passion. But Jung would ask, what are you seeking in those moments? Love or escape? Because here's the painful truth. When you approach love through sex, you're often not seeking connection. You're trying to fill a void within, a void no physical fire can ever fill. Pause for a moment, take a deep breath, and ask yourself, when I chase physical attraction, what am I trying to prove? What am I trying to hide? Because as Jung said, what you resist not only persists but grows in size. If you don't face the wounds within, they will lead you into relationships that stay on the surface. And in an age of fast connections, we're more prone to this trap than ever. Chapter 2. The shadow whispers in your love. Imagine your soul as a house. There are bright rooms you proudly show the world, your smile, your confidence, your achievements. But there are also dark rooms, locked away, where you hide your fears, insecurities, and old wounds. Jung called this the shadow, the part of your psyche you deny, but which silently steers your life. When you love through a sexual approach, you may be letting the shadow take the wheel. Think about it. Why do you seek fleeting moments of passion? Is it because you truly want connection, or because you're trying to prove you're attractive enough, lovable enough, worthy enough? In the age of social media, where people flaunt perfect photos and dreamy relationships, your shadow whispers, if I'm not desired, if I'm not wanted, I am nothing. Jung understood that the shadow isn't your enemy. It's part of you, and it only wants to be seen. But when you approach love solely through sex, you're avoiding the work of facing the shadow. You use physical attraction as a shield so you don't have to confront the hard questions. Why do I feel unworthy? Why do I need someone to validate my worth? And here's the harsh truth. If you don't face the shadow, it will show up in your relationships. It will turn moments of passion into jealousy, insecurity, or a gnawing sense of emptiness. In today's world, our shadows are amplified by a culture of comparison. Every day, you scroll past images of perfect couples, idealized bodies, and epic love stories online. You tell yourself, if I have a hot partner, if I'm desired, I'll be happy. But Jung would say, you don't need to be desired. You need to be seen by yourself. True love doesn't begin with conquering another's body. It begins with conquering the dark rooms of your soul. Chapter 3. Anima and Animus. Love is not projection. Picture this. You meet someone. They make your heart race. They seem like everything you've ever dreamed of. Charismatic, alluring, perfect. You think this is love. But Jung would smile and ask, are you truly in love with them, or are you in love with the image you've projected onto them? Jung introduced the concepts of anima, the feminine aspect in a man's psyche, and animus, the masculine aspect in a woman's psyche. When you fall in love, you often project your anima or animus onto the other person, seeing them as the embodiment of your deepest ideals. Sex, with its primal power, is often the catalyst for this projection. A glance, a touch, and you think you found the one. But Jung warned, if your love is based solely on this projection, it won't last. In our era, this projection is magnified by media culture. Movies, social media, and advertisements sell us the image of the perfect partner. Seductive, glamorous, always ready. When you approach love through sex, you easily fall into the trap of projection, mistaking physical attraction for deep connection. But Jung would remind you, the person you love is not a symbol. They are a human being with their own wounds, dreams, and shadows. True love, for Jung, is the journey of withdrawing projection. It means seeing your partner as they truly are, not as the idealized image you've placed on them. But if your relationship is rooted in sex alone, this becomes difficult. The heat of physical passion can cloud your vision, making you unaware that you're in love with a fantasy, not a person. And when that fantasy crumbles, when your partner no longer fits the ideal, you feel disappointed, hurt, or empty. Chapter 4. Sex is not the destination, but a doorway. Jung never denied the power of sex. He saw it as a natural part of being human, a manifestation of libido, the life energy that flows through every aspect of existence. But he also emphasized that sex, if approached as the sole goal, becomes a trap. It's like a doorway to a vast house, but if you linger at the threshold, you'll never explore the rooms within. In today's world, we're caught in a culture of instant pleasure. Sex is glorified as the pinnacle of connection, promoted through movies, music, and advertisements. Dating apps encourage quick encounters where physical attraction is the primary criterion. But Jung would ask, when the fire dies down, what's left? Have you truly connected with the other person, or just with a moment? Sex for Jung is a doorway to deeper layers of the soul. It can symbolize union, not just between two bodies, but between opposing parts of your psyche, conscious and unconscious, masculine and feminine, light and shadow. But if you stop at sex, you're refusing to step through that doorway. You're denying the chance to explore the deeper meaning of love, empathy, shared values, and the journey of growing together. Chapter 5. Love is a journey of individuation. Jung believed that the highest purpose of life is individuation. The journey to become a whole, integrated individual, embracing all parts of your psyche. Love, in this context, is not just about finding someone to complete you. It's an opportunity to discover yourself, confront your shadow, integrate your anima animus, and become the fullest version of who you are. When you love through a sexual approach, you risk turning love into dependency. You seek a partner to fill the voids in your soul, your insecurities, your fear of loneliness, your sense of inadequacy. But Jung would say, No one can fill you because you are already whole. True love is not about finding someone to complete you. It's about two whole individuals meeting, exploring, and growing together. In our era, we're often trapped in the narrative that love will save us. Romantic movies, pop songs, and social media reinforce the idea that a passionate relationship will solve all our problems. But Jung would remind you, love is not the answer. It is a question. It asks you, are you ready to face yourself? Are you ready to love without needing to possess or control? Chapter 6. The Era of Surface Connections. Look around. We live in a world where connection is measured by likes, messages, and meetups. Love in this age is often reduced to a transaction. You're attractive, I'm drawn to you, we hook up. But then what? Why do these relationships so often end in disappointment? Jung would say we're loving from the ego, not the self. The ego craves control, validation, and instant pleasure. It wants to be desired, admired, affirmed. But the self, the deepest part of your soul, craves meaning, connection, and wholeness. When you approach love through sex, you're letting the ego lead, and the ego is never satisfied. In our time, the ego is fueled by consumer culture. Sex is sold as a product, love packaged as an experience. But Jung would remind you, love is not something you can buy, conquer, or own. It is something you become. When you love through a sexual approach, you're trying to buy a moment of happiness, rather than building a foundation for lasting love. Chapter 7. How to Love Wholly. If loving through a sexual approach isn't the way, what is the path to true love? Jung would say, start with yourself. Love is not about finding someone to complete you. It's about becoming whole, so you can meet another in wholeness. Face the shadow. Ask yourself, why do I seek sex? What void is it filling? Are you running from loneliness, rejection, or a sense of inadequacy? Sit with those feelings. Don't flee. Don't hide them with moments of passion. Withdraw projection. When you're drawn to someone, ask, what do I see in them? Is it them, or the image I want to see? Learn to see your partner as a real person, with strengths and flaws, not a symbol of your desire. Integrate anima animus. Explore the feminine or masculine within you. If you're a man, connect with your sensitivity, intuition, and emotions. If you're a woman, embrace your strength, logic, and independence. When you integrate these parts, you rely less on a partner to complete you. Love from wholeness. True love begins when you no longer need another to feel enough. This doesn't mean rejecting love. It means loving from a place of freedom, not lack. Chapter 8. Love is a return. Here's the deepest truth Jung taught us. You don't need to search for love. You are love. Every moment you chased physical attraction, every time you thought someone else would fill you, was a moment you forgot this truth. Love is not something you conquer. It is something you remember. In our era, we're caught in a spiral of lack. We're taught we're not enough, not attractive enough, successful enough, lovable enough. But Jung would say, you were enough from the moment you were born. Love is not something you earn. It is something you become. When you love without relying on sex as the primary path, you open a doorway to union, not just with another person, but with your own soul. You become the witness, the lover, the creator. You no longer need someone to affirm your worth, because you've seen that worth within yourself. Final chapter. Pause and love. If you're reading this, you've likely felt it, the emptiness after moments of passion, the disappointment when love didn't meet your expectations. You've probably asked, why wasn't it enough? This is your moment to pause. Not to give up on love, but to find it again within you. Carl Jung said, your vision will become clear only when you look into your heart. Don't seek love in fleeting moments of attraction. Don't seek it in the perfect images on your phone screen. Find it in the stillness, in the courage to face yourself, and in the trust that you are enough. Love not from lack, but from wholeness. Love not to conquer, but to discover. And in that journey, you won't just find love, you will become love.